I found something. Obviously, we're not gonna throw it away. I know you're in there. Easy fix. What could go wrong? This is mostly just a patience game at this point. We have the first snow in the house. I cannot explain to you how excited I am for the first snow. It's cold as fuck here. But it's okay. I had to go in and do some work, but this view is absolutely distracting. This is magical. And it's so amazingly quiet. 10 out of 10. So I feel like we have to go outside. We're gonna pause work and go outside. We have been looking forward to that very first morning where we wake up and there's snow in the garden. It's been this moment that I've been looking forward to ever since I saw the house for the first time. And when I went out there, one of the first things that I saw in the garden was these small footprints from deer in the snow. My serotonin levels are just through the roof today. But I'm not gonna lie, December was a tough one to get through. There are many good things, don't get me wrong, but I also struggled a lot. And everything I look forward to after New Year's was having a week in my house without plans or expectations for something spectacular to happen. Just getting back into my routines, getting back into my work again, and just being alone. Well, I don't know, alone with my partner, but nonetheless, just having fewer plans. And now that agenda is sort of forced upon us because of the weather, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. We did stock up on food, so we have all the stuff we need for the whole week. Yeah. Buying a house in the forest might have been just what I needed in order to start appreciating meal prep. How about that? I found something, and my toxic trait is telling me that this is going to be an easy DIY. But one second. In the shed, that is actually a sauna that has been transformed into a shed, I found this. It's a little bench, and I assume that it's the previous owner who painted it black. Paint that definitely wasn't fit for the outdoors. I'm thinking we are gonna bring this bad boy inside, and we're gonna see if we can scrap the paint off and bring some new life into this. Right? Easy fix. What could go wrong? I'm pretty much a homebody throughout this entire week, so this is a good project to take on, I feel like. Let's go. A big bummer today, but my spoon, my homemade spoon, cracked. Obviously, we're not gonna throw it away, but it was really annoying because you could see there was sort of a little crack into it, and when I touched it, this part just came off completely. So now I'm thinking we have to find a way of repairing it. So what I want to do is that I want to go in again with my knife and see if I can make just a little dent in here. That way we will have like a little drainage function. Either way, you can still stir with this, so we'll be perfectly fine. But I would like to prevent any further damage. So I'll go in and see if I can smooth this out and see if we can fix it. That's really annoying. Anyway, we're gonna try and see if we can fix this. It's smooth. There we go. This just really reminds me that broken doesn't necessarily mean that it's broken. How do I say that in a more inspiring way? If it's broken doesn't mean it can't ever be useful at anything. Catch my drift? Coincidentally, also a brilliant metaphor for mental health. But now I have a spoon again. Cool beans. More sort of in terms of house updates, I have another thing that I recently did, and I'm so bloody excited that I did it. So when we moved into this place, we had tons of wall art. I have so much art, I've collected it for so long, but the idea isn't to make the whole house look like this. So I had tons of pictures that I didn't know what to do with. I didn't really find a place for it right away and didn't really feel intuitive where I wanted it to be. I have a new project. The thing is, I'm terrified to go down to the basement. I don't know what it is. I've just watched too many horror movies, I reckon, but I have been terrified to go down to the basement by myself. Whenever I do, I either sing or make noise, or I say something loud into the room, just, I know you're in there. Fully grown adult, by the way. So I've tried to make it a little bit more cozy, and it's been working. I'm not scared of the basement anymore, okay? Watch this. So I am trying to make this a little bit more cozy so it's not so terrifying to go down here. There's some space here that I want to use for something down here as well. This picture was there when we moved in, so it's made by the previous owner. Is it my favorite picture in the whole world? No, it's not, but it's, you know, a big bother to try and take it down because it's so far up. And I also kind of like that there is something from the past owner, so we have the whole story of the house still here. Anyway, I am not so scared to go down into the basement anymore because now we're just decorating it, and a lot of the small odd pieces that I didn't know what to do with, they are going to go in here. We still have some room to go, but it's good. Generally, what I've tried to do is take all the practical parts of the house and make them aesthetic. There we go. It's the next day. I'm still kind of snowed in, not officially, but today we are apparently getting a really big storm. Luckily, we have our cupboard stored. I have food prepped. We're good. But I wanted to show you one of the recent marketplace finds that we found in the beginning of January. I found the stinking cutest 60s bedside tables, and they feel so in tune with the house. The house is from 1968. This is the composition that we're working with. I do love the brown and blue tones together. I think that's really cute. But the bedside tables, I would just like to say 10 out of 10 for having a little bedside table with a storage in it. So you can close it and you can take all your mess and put it in there. I'm really excited. They're from the 60s and they're teak. I think they work really great with the house. Please do let me know if you find these updates on what I find on Marketplace or what I find in thrift stores, etc. for the house interesting. Let me know. Anyway, that's actually not what I wanted to show you. We are taking the first step and trying to restore the bench. I have no idea if it's going to be super easy or super difficult to take off this paint. Let's try and see. So big shocker, but I'm not going to use any harsh chemicals. I'm just going in with natural soap and a brush that was weirdly left behind in the bathroom by the previous owner, which I'm very much so not going to be using on my body. But it turns out it's really perfect for loosening the paint, which came off, to be fair, super easily because, well, it's indoor paint that's been sat outside for God knows how long. My plan is to first get all the paint off. Then there is some wood lacquer underneath, it seems, which for the time being I'm going to keep. I will need to borrow some tools to get it off, but my dream is to restain it in a different tone. I don't know. I'm saying later in this video that I will sand it down now, but girl, be for real. Let's get the paint off and then we can talk. This is mostly just a patience game at this point. There are many small surfaces to get to, and I might have started out without the proper time to finish it, so I'll have to get back into the saddle later this week. But of course, I'm going to keep you posted in this video. None of that wait for part 2 bullshit. I'm taking a break now. I did the entire top, so now we just need to sand that down, probably give it some new wood oil. The sides are super half-assed, by the way, but I need to get on with my work. So this is where we're at, but it's a good start. So welcome to my kitchen today. The sound, I don't know if this is gonna be, it's gonna be a whole thing. It's lunchtime and I'm in the mood for what I consider a classic within my Rolodex of recipes. Like this is something that went viral in the beginning of last year and I've just made it ever since. At least once a month. I am doing the Turkish pasta deconstructed mante. I've done it several times. I love to do it. It's one of my favorite things to do for lunch, especially if I don't have any leftovers that I can tap into. So we're making that today. Because girl is still kind of snowed in. So this is what you need to make it. Okay. The recipe typically calls for ground beef, but you know, I'm using this soy-based minced. Phenomenal. We have some veggies, cucumber, tomato, which is typically what is in the recipes that you see. I've just added more veggies because I have them. Also need some diced onion and garlic. And pasta of choice, I'm going with rigatoni because they are always the correct choice. Vegan butter, vegan creme fraiche, using my chili and garlic paste, and then a little mix of spices. I'm going with smoked paprika, salt, pepper, cumin, a little bit of everything, but the cumin is important. This recipe, which my dish admittingly is a very loose interpretation of, went viral as Turkish pasta, but perhaps do not share many particular references with its source material. It's a long way to Turkey is what I'm saying, so the name might be misleading if you're expecting Turkish cuisine. The flavors, however, are inspired by mante, but instead of putting the filling into the pasta, it's on top, plus the extra add-ons. But yeah, this is not to offend anyone from Turkey. This is as Turkish as rødgrød med fløde. A little Danish tongue twister there for you. If you want to make it, however, and I do recommend because it is delicious, I have a separate short format video with the recipe that I will link in the description below. But honestly, most of what I'm doing in this dish is based on vibes. Don't focus too much on measurements. Just taste, experience, and adjust it to your liking. We're already not cooking original cuisine, so might as well customize it even more. We're ready to plate this extremely casual meal. I am, however, looking so much forward to it, so I'll take you through the steps. I'm gonna start out with the pasta. I just rinsed it under cold water, so it's not scalding hot. We're just gonna add all of it, you know. Then we're gonna take the minced, mixed with the onions and the garlic and the spices, just on top. Voila. Now, and this is where you can sort of take it, make it your own thing. I have the butter and chili paste here, so we're just gonna pour that all over it. Just letting that butter melt all over the pasta. I actually forgot one of my favorite parts about this recipe is the excessive use of parsley. I love fresh parsley. And we didn't really have any, so I've made this little combination of chives and parsley, but this is like 1/3 of what I would typically put on this dish. The fresh parsley is really a make it or break it thing, and I am not being dramatic when I say that. I'm so bummed out that I don't have it, but we're just gonna add some of the greens on the side. We have the lettuce. This is just gonna be a little finger claw here. We have the fresh cucumber and the tomatoes, which just go on top, not on the side. I'm being specific about this. It's my dish, it's okay. The parsley and chive mix. We're not done because I also have the oat-based creme fraiche with the lemon. And we're just gonna use that as a little dressing on top. Just a little boop. And this is my favorite lunch. We're gonna do a little bit of a B-roll because you have to see this up close. Okie dokie. This is, in every single aspect of the word, a really simple dish with really simple features. Do you also have those dishes that are just, so simple, but they just hit the spot for you every time to convince other people to try it because it's so simple? Like, why would they? Because they know what that would taste like, and then it's just so much better than they could imagine. Also, this is actually the office today. I moved into the living room because then I can watch the last season of Stranger Things while doing my taxes. Best thrift find ever. I'm making a whole thing out of taking the thing that I enjoy the absolute least about my job, and I'm doing it in a cozy setting, watching something and just having a good time with it. So there's a part of it that I can look forward to. And that is how I get through basically every annoying chore in my life. Also, it snowed so much last night that you can basically not even see my footprints in the garden anymore. Yeah, she's back at it again. Even though there is still plenty of evidence of the fact that I already took some of the paint off. There are tons of small paint chips everywhere, and we're trying to remove most of them, but some of them are really stuck on there. Let the chaos commence. I am as done with the bench today as I can get without the proper tools. So I do have ambition to take this even further, but now it's at least somewhat pleasant to look at. Here's how it ended up. I put it into my office for now, but I don't think it's going to stay here. But I like how it sort of matches my big table. It's like a small version of it. Love that. This is where we're at. Some of the wood lacquer on here has started to crack. I think due to the fact that I washed it. So the water and the moisture sort of made it crack, but that's okay because the ambition is to take this off at some point. So we have the wood underneath, give it a new stain. So we're seeing that kind of damage, but it's okay. And then there still is a little bit of paint on both legs. Some of this is also stained, so I need to sand it to get it off. Same thing here. Most of the paint has been removed, but it's stained the wood underneath, it seems. And there are quite certainly a million things that I could have done that would have been better, smarter, more efficient. Please let me know if you have any experience trying to restore furniture. But I can say I have reinstated respect for those content creators who take furniture and give it new life, because this was time consuming and this was a small project. I am, however, feeling really encouraged and motivated to keep learning about this and keep trying and keep experimenting and also optimizing, making my work routine a little bit more efficient when it comes to how we do this. I chipped all of this off mostly using a brush, a metal brush, and then I found a stick by the end of it. So I'm just poking at the paint, scraping it off. Anyway, that's how I did this. And I think in total, maybe 3 hours. Let me know if you have any experience or how you can do this more efficiently without involving like super harsh chemicals, because I would really like to avoid that. That is it for this video. I feel like she's been crafty this week. I also realized today that I haven't been outside all week, or like outside, but I haven't like left my land. So I'm gonna finish my work and go into the city center for a coffee because I'm going stir crazy. Or maybe not actually, because I've just had like a great time. I've done more work than it feels like I've done all of December. I've done in this week. I'm so happy with everything that has happened, and also really got to test out some new crafts and ideas. Just that's what it's all about, yo. I'm pretty happy with how this week turned out. So thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys next time. Take really good care of yourselves. Until then, bye.